On Sunday morning, I sit at my kitchen table, sipping coffee that has already gone lukewarm, while Whiskers, my adopted tabby, purrs as he brushes against my ankles. The apartment feels unusually still today, broken only by the occasional car outside and the steady ticking of the wall clock my grandmother once owned. In this modest Salem home, it is the one small luxury I have. The sudden ring of the phone shatters the quiet. Sierra Federal Credit Union lights up on the screen, likely just another credit card pitch. I almost let it go to voicemail, but habit takes over. I answer, introducing myself. A man's voice, polite and professional, greets me, Daniel Hart from Sierra Federal Credit Union. He tells me he is calling regarding my mortgage payment. My brow tightens as I stir the coffee absently. I insist there must be a mistake, since I have no mortgage. After a pause, he asks if I am Ava Noel Mercer, born May 12, 1991. My hand freezes. Yes, I confirm, though uneasily. Then he asks about a social security number ending in 4832. My chest tightens. I admit that is mine, but I repeat firmly that I rent an apartment on Willow Street and have no home loan. I hear him shuffling through papers before he replies. Their records show me listed as the primary borrower for a property at 1478 Oak Ridge Lane, with a payment of $2,780 that was due 5 days ago. The room seems to tilt. That cannot be possible. I have never bought a house. He explains calmly that the loan began 3 years ago, and the remaining balance is $515,000. The mug slips from my hand, coffee splattering across the table. Whiskers bolts as I grab for a cloth. My voice rises too high as I stammer that this is impossible. I never applied for a loan, never signed mortgage papers. His tone softens, shifting into reassurance. This could be identity theft, he suggests, and urges me to file a dispute claim right away. The phrase repeats in my head: identity theft. Images flash. Credit alerts I brushed off as system glitches, unopened mail from Sierra Federal tossed aside, the drop in my credit score when I tried for an apartment on Cedar Street last year. With my throat dry, I ask if he can say who else is tied to the loan. He refuses, explaining that information cannot be shared by phone. I will need to bring identification to a branch. My hand clenches the damp cloth. I ask him to repeat the property address. He does, and the words chill me, 1478 Oak Ridge Lane. That is my sister Lila's home. The beautiful craftsman with the wide porch she and her husband purchased 3 years earlier. The house she once walked me through proudly, each room shown off, the hardwood floors and built-in shelves admired. The same home I helped her decorate weekend after weekend. Are you still there, Ms. Mercer? He prompts. My answer comes out hollow, yes. He explains the process: visit the branch, bring proper ID, request the loan documents, file a claim. I write it all down, though the handwriting looks nothing like mine. When the call ends, I stand in my kitchen with coffee-stained papers spread across the table. Outside, life goes on, families heading to brunch, a neighbor calling her children. Everyday things while my world is falling apart. I move to my desk, pulling open neat folders, returns, medical files, permission slips. Page after page bears my familiar signature, signed for my family during Mom's illness, Dad's retirement, Lila's schooling. A text buzzes on my phone. It is from Mom. Sunday dinner at 5. Lila has news. My eyes linger on the words, recalling her constant refrain when I complained about the endless paperwork. Ava doesn't need help, she helps. That line became the truth of who I was. But now, everything tilts beneath me. $515,000. My name, my credit, my future. I glance at Whiskers, circling my legs again, unaware of how much has been destroyed. They stole from me, I whisper, the words heavy and unfamiliar. And for the first time, I do not rush to shield my family with excuses. Instead, I lift my phone and take photographs of the call notes, the alerts, my real signatures. My hands shake, but my thoughts are suddenly sharp. The following day, after I visit the bank and request the paperwork, a thick manila envelope from Sierra Federal rests unopened on my coffee table for 3 long hours. Whiskers sniffs it twice, then walks away uninterested. I sit staring at it, tea cooling at my side, my stomach tightening more with every minute. At last, I break the seal. The documents inside feel heavy, stamped with official letterhead, loan schedules, account numbers. On the final page is a signature. It looks like mine, but it is not. I spread the sheets across the table and pull my own records, birth certificate, passport papers, health insurance forms. Side by side, I compare the handwriting I have used since childhood. The forgery is disturbingly precise. The rightward slant, the loop in the capital L, even the fading line at the end. Only someone who knew my signature well could have created it. Someone like Lila, who had watched me sign her applications, her medical releases, her tax forms for years. I open her Instagram and scroll back 3 years. There she is, standing proudly on the porch of 1478 Oak Ridge Lane. The caption reads, "Dreams do come true. First-time homeowner. Blessed." 98 likes. 17 comments. Among them, my own telling her how proud I was, how excited I felt to help her decorate. Beneath that post, the rest of the timeline unfolds. Professional photographs of every room appear in the feed, before and after transformations, holiday dinners in the dining room where I had hung wallpaper, backyard barbecues on the patio that Dad and I laid brick by brick. All of it built on fraud, my fraud. I scroll further until I land on the image I was searching for, a picture taken 6 months before the house purchase. Lila and Mom at lunch, wine glasses raised in celebration. The caption reads, "Thanks for always being my backup plan, Mom." Blessed. My backup plan. The words send me spiraling back to the hospital when I was 16, after Lila wrecked the car Dad had bought her for her birthday. Mom's voice echoed in my memory, "Thank goodness for Ava's spotless driving record." The insurance covers her as the secondary driver. Secondary driver. Backup plan. The shrill of my phone startles Whiskers off the couch. It's Rowan from work. "Hey, are you okay? You left early yesterday and canceled your shift today. That's not like you." My eyes fall on the evidence of betrayal spread across the coffee table. "Not really," I answer. "Do you want company? I can bring coffee." 40 minutes later, Rowan is seated beside me on the couch, her dark eyes widening as I explain. Where my face is round and freckled, hers is angular, framed by short silver hair. She carries the calm authority of someone who spent 30 years teaching high school before retiring into volunteer work. "And you had no idea?" she asks, handing me a tissue I hadn't realized I needed. "I thought the credit alerts were just mistakes," I admit, my laugh sounding hollow even to me. Who suspects their own family of identity theft? She studies the mortgage papers, her gaze fixed on the forged signature. "This wasn't impulsive, Ava. This was deliberate. 3 years. My voice breaks. 3 years while I ate ramen to save for a security deposit. 3 years of being invited to decorate the very house they stole from me. "You need legal guidance," Rowan insists, already pulling out her phone. "My Uncle Arthur is a retired military lawyer. He helps veterans handle identity theft cases." "I can't afford that," I murmur. "The first consultation is free." "He does it as community service," she assures me. My eyes drift to the denial letter from the Cedar Street apartments the year before. Application denied due to insufficient credit score. The apartment I had dreamed of, with its southern exposure and breakfast nook, the one I saved for 18 months to afford. "What happens to the house?" I ask quietly. "That depends on what you want to see happen," Rowan replies, her tone steady but firm. "This isn't just wrong, it's criminal." Criminal. The word should have felt too strong, exaggerated, but it settled in perfectly. Another message buzzes on my phone. "Mom, this time, don't forget Lila's housewarming next Sunday. You're bringing that spinach dip everyone loves, right?" I set the phone down, refusing to answer. On my laptop, I open old credit monitoring alerts I had dismissed. 5 appeared the first year after the mortgage began. 3 more the following year, when Lila had apparently taken out a line of credit for home improvements. Another ping, "Dad now. Need help with your taxes this weekend?" My taxes. He had done them since I was 16, giving him constant access to my social security number, employment records, and financial history. Anger rises in me, not in a sudden flare, but slow and steady, heavy like water filling a tub. This anger carries weight. Will you call your uncle? I ask Rowan, surprised at how steady my voice sounds. She nods and begins dialing. You're doing the right thing. Outside my window, a family strolls by, parents holding hands, children skipping ahead. Ordinary Sunday life. But inside my apartment, with 3 years of calculated betrayal scattered across the table, nothing feels ordinary anymore. I gather the documents into a fresh folder and label it fraud evidence in bold black marker, the first real decision I've made for myself in years. By Thursday afternoon, while I am cleaning kennels at the shelter, a text arrives, Sunday dinner at 5. Important family news. Don't be late. Mom's tone, even through a screen, still carries its old mix of sweetness and command. I stare at the message, my stomach nodding. 3 days had passed since Mr. Whitaker helped me file the police report. 3 days of silence from my family after I stopped taking their calls. 3 days of finally sleeping through the night with Justice, my newly adopted shepherd mix, curled against me. Everything okay? Rowan asks from the doorway, her salt and pepper hair slipping loose from her bandana. She holds 2 mugs of coffee, extending one toward me. Family dinner summons, I sigh, taking the mug and breathing in its warmth. Are you going? She asks gently. The question lingers. Am I going? Before learning about the mortgage, I would never have considered saying no. But now, yes. The word surprises me. I need to see their faces when I ask them directly. Rowan nods, her eyes calm, her expression free of judgment. That is why she was the first I confided in, her quiet understanding, and the way she had shown up with coffee the morning I came to work with red-rimmed eyes. Mr. Whitaker said I need to control the narrative. I set my mug down and returned to scrubbing the kennel floor. If I don't confront them, they'll twist this into me overreacting. $500,000 is not an overreaction, Rowan replies, her voice sharpening. It's fraud. The word still makes me flinch. Fraud. Identity theft. Criminal charges. Family words now. Will you call me after? Rowan asks. I nod, grateful for this friendship forged out of betrayal. Promise. On Sunday evening, I park 3 houses away from my parents' Tudor-style home, giving myself extra moments to steady my breathing. Justice sits in the passenger seat, his watchful eyes never leaving my face. Wait here, buddy. I won't be long. Inside my purse rests a manila folder filled with copies, mortgage documents, credit reports, the police report. Mr. Whitaker's words echo in my mind. Don't let them talk over you. Don't take excuses. This was not a mistake, it was a calculated choice. Before I can even knock, the front door swings open. Mom stands there in her Sunday best, pearl earrings glinting. You're late, she says, though she still pulls me into a hug. The familiar scent of her white shoulders' perfume wraps around me, the same fragrance I remember since childhood. For one dangerous heartbeat, I want to melt into it, to believe this is only another family dinner. But then the banker's voice returns, $515,000. Traffic, I lie, something I have never done with my mother. The rebellion feels unexpectedly freeing. The dining room sparkles with crystal water glasses and fine china. Dad slices a roast at the head of the table, while Lila and her husband Caleb sit together, bent over a catalog. Ava's here, Mom announces, her tone edged with satisfaction. Dad looks up with a quick smile. Take a seat, we're just starting. Lila's perfect smile flickers when our eyes meet, a shadow of unease before she composes herself. Sis, we've missed you this week. Where have you been hiding? I slide into my chair. Working. The shelter is swamped with kitten season. Conversation flows as though nothing has changed, Dad recounting his golf game, Mom discussing garden club disputes, Lila and Caleb talking about plans for a kitchen renovation in their lovely craftsman home. The home with my name tied to the mortgage. We're leaning toward Italian marble counters, Lila says, pushing the catalog toward me. Do you prefer the white with gold veining or the gray? My fingers grip the glass of water. How much does Italian marble cost these days? Caleb laughs. An arm and a leg, but Lila deserves the best. My voice comes low. She always has gotten the best. The room falls still. Mom's fork halts midair. Dad, knife in hand, looks at me sharply. What's that supposed to mean? My pulse races as I reach for the folder in my bag. Does anyone know anything about a mortgage loan in my name for $515,000? The silence is absolute. No movement, no answer. Finally, Mom sighs with exasperation. Ava, we've been over this. You always overthink. We have never talked about this. I place the folder squarely on the table. Here are copies of everything: the loan agreements, the credit reports, and the police report I filed Thursday. Lila's face drains of color. Dad's knife slips, clattering against his plate. Police report? Mom whispers. It was my name, I say, my voice steady in a way it never has been with them. My credit. My future. Lila straightens, her expression hardening. You have good credit. I don't. What's the big deal? We make the payments. Except when you don't, I reply. That's why the bank called me. You stole my identity. We didn't steal anything, Mom interrupts quickly. We borrowed your good name to help your sister. After all we've done for you. The guilt that always worked in the past slides right off. And what exactly have you done for me, besides making me your backup plan? Dad speaks for the first time, voice quiet. Ava, be reasonable. This can be resolved privately. There's no need for police. I look around the table, studying each face: Mom's defiance, Dad's discomfort, Lila's entitlement. These are the people I have spent my life trying to please, the ones I bent my dreams around. It's already done, I say, gathering the folder. The bank's fraud department has the case. The police are investigating. I will not cover for any of you anymore. You can't mean that. Lila shouts, her voice rising. They'll take our house. You mean my house, I answer. That's what the paperwork says. Mom rises quickly, reaching for me. Think about what you're doing to this family. For the first time in 34 years, I pull free of her grasp. I am thinking about it. I'm thinking about how easy it was for you to use me, and how none of you ever considered what this would do to me. I walk toward the door, every step lighter. Ava. Mom's voice snaps behind me. Don't you walk out that door. I turn back once. Families ask. They don't steal. Then I step outside into the cool evening air, where Justice waits in the car, his steady presence the only family I need. The knocking comes Tuesday morning at 7:30, 3 sharp raps that send Justice hiding under the bed. I already know who it is. Mom stands in the hallway, her face blotchy and swollen from tears. She pushes inside without waiting. How could you go to the police? Her voice cracks as she paces my small living room. You've ruined everything. I shut the door behind her, strangely calm. Would you like some coffee? Coffee? She stares at me like I have lost my mind. Your sister might lose her house. Your father hasn't slept in days. And you offer me coffee? I move to the kitchen, filling the kettle, my hands steady in the routine. I didn't create this situation. It was only paperwork, Ava. Paperwork we always handled as a family. The word paperwork ignites a fire in me. I set the kettle down carefully. $500,000 isn't paperwork. It's fraud. Mom sinks onto the sofa, her shoulders collapsing inward. We were going to tell you eventually. Lila just needed help getting on her feet. The bank never would have approved her loan with her credit history. In my purse sits a manila folder, stuffed with copies, the mortgage documents, the credit reports, the police statement. Mr. Whitaker's warning runs through my mind. Do not let them talk over you. Do not accept excuses. This was not an accident. It was deliberate. So you stole mine? I ask. Borrowed, Mom corrects quietly, her eyes avoiding mine. Your credit was perfect. You weren't even using it. I walk to my desk and pull out another envelope, delivered yesterday by a bank courier. Inside are the full mortgage records, 17 separate pages signed with my forged name. I set it on the coffee table between us. This isn't borrowing. This is theft. Mom pushes the envelope away without so much as glancing at it. Family helps family. You know that. Family asks, I answer, the words sounding as if they come from a new steel-hard place inside me. They don't steal. My phone buzzes for the 12th time that morning, another text from Lila. How could you do this to me? I silence the phone without reading the rest. Your sister has 2 children, Mom says, her voice dropping into quiet accusation. Where will they live if they lose the house? The same place I would have lived if the bank had come after me for those payments, I reply evenly. Maybe with their other grandparents, the ones who own the vacation place in Bend. Mom's mouth tightens. I never raised you to be vindictive. No, you raised me to be reliable. I pull out an old birthday card, the edges yellowed with age. Do you remember this? She takes it reluctantly. Inside, beneath the printed greeting, Dad's handwriting reads, "Thank you for always being our backup plan." Your father meant it as a compliment, Mom mutters. I know, I say, sliding the card back into my wallet. That's exactly what makes it worse. The kettle whistles. Neither of us moves. Mr. Whitaker says the bank may press charges, I tell her. It's out of my hands now. She shoots to her feet, her face fierce. That man has no business meddling in family matters. He's my lawyer. He's filling your head with nonsense. We're your family. We would never hurt you. A harsh laugh escapes my throat, unfamiliar to my own ears. Tell that to my credit score. Her phone rings, Dad's ringtone. She answers instantly, turning her back to me. She won't listen. I know. I'll try. While she speaks, I pour a single cup of coffee and add cream. Not for her, for myself. When she hangs up, her face has shifted from anger into calculation. Your father says we can handle this privately. No courts, no police. Lila will set up a repayment plan. It's too late, I say, sipping the coffee, letting the bitterness fortify me. The bank's fraud team already has everything. You can withdraw the complaint, she insists. I won't. Her voice sharpens. After everything we've done for you. What exactly have you done for me? I interrupt, not with sarcasm, but with genuine curiosity. She blinks, startled, as though she doesn't understand the question. We're your family. That's not an answer. Silence settles heavy in the room, broken only by Justice padding from the bedroom, pressing against my leg. You were always so capable, Mom says finally, her voice small. You never seemed to need anything. The backward logic strikes deep. I was punished for confidence, exploited for reliability. I needed to be seen, I whisper. I needed to be asked, not used. Mom rises stiffly, gathering her purse. I'll tell your father you're not being reasonable. I walk her to the door, Justice close at my heels. At the threshold she turns, her face crumpling into something that almost looks like remorse. We never thought it would hurt you, she murmurs. Your credit was just so good. The door shuts behind her. I stand there, coffee cooling in my hand, realization settling over me in waves. They hadn't failed to notice me. They had seen exactly what they could take. My phone vibrates with a text from Mr. Whitaker. Bank suspended the mortgage. First victory. Justice nudges my free hand. I scratch behind his ears, feeling lighter than I have in years, the weight I carried finally loosening. We're going to be okay, I tell him. And for the first time in a week, I believe it. The following week, the animal shelter hums with barking dogs, volunteers chatting, mop buckets squeaking across linoleum. But the noise fades when Dad walks through the door. He stands uncertain in the lobby, wearing his navy windbreaker zipped despite the warm spring air, a manila envelope in his hand. My stomach knots, I know that envelope. Bank letterhead. You shouldn't be here, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. He glances at my coworkers. Can we talk somewhere private? I consider refusing, then lead him into the small break room and close the door. The windowless space feels smaller with him inside. He sets the envelope on the table, his wedding ring tapping against the surface. We can deal with this quietly, he says. No courts, no police. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead. I wait. Your sister will lose everything, Ava. I trace a finger along a coffee ring on the table. She already took everything from me. She made a mistake. 3 years of mistakes? I snap. With my signature on every page? That's not a mistake, that's a plan. He pushes the envelope toward me. We've worked out a settlement. Your mother and I will cover half the debt. Lila will make direct payments to you for the rest. Why no? Because you got caught. His eyes fall to his hands, the same hands that once taught me to ride a bike, that signed my permission slips, That waved off my worries when I mentioned credit alerts last year. This will destroy your mother's health, he says softly. Her blood pressure is through the roof. The doctor said. Stop. My palm slams against the table. A mug jumps, spilling cold coffee onto my shirt. You don't get to use Mom's health to manipulate me. Not anymore. The old urge to comfort him rises, that lifetime instinct to smooth things over, to make everyone else comfortable at my expense. But Mr. Whitaker's voice echoes in my mind. Their comfort has always been purchased at my expense. Dad pulls a stack of papers from the envelope. Just sign these, drop the police report, and we'll take care of everything. A laugh escapes me, sharp, foreign. You want me to sign more papers? That's what caused all of this. We're family, he says, the word cracking in his throat. Family asks, I reply firmly. They don't steal. He nudges the settlement papers closer, the signature line glaring at me like an accusation. For a moment, I see every other page I've signed over the years, Mom's hospital consent forms during her gallbladder surgery, financial aid applications for Lila's college, Dad's retirement paperwork, insurance documents. My phone vibrates in my pocket. A message from Mr. Whitaker. Remember your worth. I rise, leaving the papers untouched. I've arranged a meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock in Mr. Whitaker's office. Bring Mom and Lila. A lawyer? That's not necessary. We can handle this among ourselves, Dad argues. We tried that for 34 years, I answer, gathering the papers and handing them back. It ends now. His fingers shake as he takes them. Your mother can't handle a court fight. Then she shouldn't have started one. The shelter intercom crackles, calling staff to help with a new rescue. Dad winces at the sound. I have to go, I tell him. Tomorrow at 3. Don't be late. I turn, but his voice follows me. I never signed anything, he blurts, defensive. I just didn't ask questions. I look back one last time. That's worse. Underscore 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 underscore. The next day, I arrive at Mr. Whitaker's office half an hour early. His workspace is modest but exact. Framed commendations, a worn leather chair, a perpetually full coffee pot. He arranges the folders with military precision. They'll try to make you doubt yourself, he warns. They'll tug at your compassion, your sense of duty. I know, I say. Your whole life has been built on being their safety net. His gaze sharpens behind wire-rimmed glasses. Are you prepared for them to fall? Before I can respond, the receptionist buzzes. The Mercer family is here. They enter quietly, Mom gripping her purse strap, Dad's eyes avoiding mine, Lila's face blotched from crying, but her posture defiant. No one sits until Mr. Whitaker gestures to the chairs. Thank you for coming, he begins, his voice cool and formal. Miss Mercer has asked me to present the non-negotiable terms for moving forward. Lila opens her mouth to interrupt, but he presses on. First, full admission of identity theft and fraudulent activity. He lays down my highlighted credit report, 3 years of unauthorized accounts in red, followed by the forged mortgage forms carrying my name. Second, complete restitution of all losses and damages. He adds the bank's fraud determination and my police report. Third, mandatory family counseling before any relationship can be restored. Mom begins to cry, makeup streaking. Dad covers her hand with his own. This is too much, Lila snaps. We made a mistake, and we're trying to fix it. Mistakes are accidents, I say, my voice steady. This was deliberate, calculated, and cruel. I pull out my evidence, birthday cards from the past 3 years, each signed with some version of thank you for always being our backup plan. What once seemed like affection now shows the truth. You didn't only steal my identity, I continue, my tone strengthening. You stole my future, my stability, and my trust. Mr. Whitaker distributes documents outlining the terms. The home must be sold, the debt repaid in full, and all legal consequences accepted. You have 24 hours to decide. After that, we pursue every remedy available. Mom's hand stretches toward mine. Ava, please. I gather my folder and rise. 24 hours. Behind me I hear Lila sob in frustration. Dad sigh heavily, Mom whisper, what have we done? For the first time in my life, I don't look back to soothe them. Underscore 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 underscore. 1 year later, clay spins beneath my hands on a pottery wheel, cool and pliant. I press it into center, thumb shaping the first hollow as water drips between my fingers. Transformation begins. Beautiful centering, Maeve, my silver-haired instructor, remarks. 60 years of clay work live in her hands. You have a natural touch. I don't deflect the praise anymore. Thank you. It's meditative. Sunlight pours through the west windows, catching dust motes that glitter like gold. A year has passed since the phone call that shattered my illusions of family. Justice, once the shelter's longest-waiting dog, now mine, snores gently in the corner. Are you glazing the reclamation collection today? Maeve asks, guiding a student's hands nearby. Yes, I reply, steady as I pull the clay walls higher. The gallery expects them next week. The reclamation collection, 7 pieces, mugs, bowls, a teapot. Each carries the fingerprint swirl I have made my mark. Every one began broken, crafted from crushed shards of discarded pottery, reshaped into something new. Destruction blended with renewal. My phone buzzes, Mom's weekly message, Coffee Tuesday? I agree, as I have for months now. Our conversations tread carefully, circling truth but never quite landing. She brings photo albums. I bring boundaries, reinforced by therapy. Dad still won't speak to me. Some bonds don't survive honesty. Lila serves community service at County Animal Control, a fitting irony. When she called asking if the shelter needed volunteers, her voice small and ashamed, I referred her elsewhere. The shelter remains my ground. Her restitution arrives each month on time. Ava? Nova, a shelter volunteer, interrupts softly. Sorry to bother you, but I need advice. Family problems? I ask gently, seeing the weight in her eyes. She looks startled. How did you know? Experience, I say, wiping clay from my hands. I'll meet you at Riverside Cafe in an hour. After she leaves, I return to my piece. My hands guide the clay upward, shaping it with certainty. Soon it will be a mug, solid, balanced, bearing the faint texture of reclaimed fragments beneath the glaze. A future owner will never know its story, how it rose from destruction into creation. But I will. Justice lifts his head, tail tapping at the floor as I look his way. Almost done, buddy, I murmur, smoothing the handle. When the mug is finished, I press my maker's mark into its base, a small, perfect boundary declaring, this is mine. This is what I built. It stands on its own.